Got my hand on camera?
Yeah, I did.
Flexor digitorum superficialis.
Flexor
Digitorum
Okay.
superficialis.
Which one is it?
Flexor digitorum superficialis, page 181. But the text is on 181. Okay, so I'm going to have her form in supination. Okay. And then so what I want to do is sort of read through really quick what it does, and then we can do the test after. Okay. So I'm going to have her do the motion of PIP flexion with her MCPs remaining in extension. Okay. So what you're doing is you're just doing that PIP joint, and your MCP is going to stay in extension. Okay. I'm going to stabilize over at the proximal phalanx to avoid compensation. I'm going to resist at the middle phalanx, okay, towards the direction of PIP extension. Okay. So I'll say, Emily, can you bend this middle joint for me towards your palm? And then when you do, I'm going to resist against you. Okay, and I want you to hold that. So let me see you. Bend that joint for me. Good. Keep this straight. That's okay. So I'm stabilizing at her, that MCP, and I'm going to say, now hold this position. On the count of 3, I'm going to push you back down, okay? 1, 2, 3. And that's how I test that superficialis. Okay? So next is the flexor digitorum profundus.
Is that any finger?
Yeah. So what you're basically sorry, what did you say?
You do that on any finger?
You can do that on any finger.
So for the test, you're gonna specify which finger, right? So that
I'll probably say index finger, just so it's easier that everybody can see. So for the profundus, you're in the same position, form is supinated, and the client or your partner is going to move in DIP flexion. Okay, so basically we're just moving up the joint. Okay, so then I'm going to stabilize at the middle phalanx, and I'm going to resist at the distal phalanx. Okay, so I'll say, Emily, can you bend the tip of your finger in like you're going to bend towards the palm direction? Good. Now I'm going to push back against you, and I want you to hold that position for me. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's how you test. That's how you test the DIP. Okay. So flexor digiti minimi. Okay, so digiti minimi means
Your
what?
pinky.
Your pinky little finger, 5th digit. Alright, so forearm is going to be in supination, okay, and I'm going to stabilize at the 5th metacarpal now, okay? So I'm going to resist at the proximal phalanx, and I'm going to push her back in the direction of MCP extension, okay? So I'll say, Emily, can you bend this joint, this knuckle up for me? And I'm going to push you back down. Ready? And count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. And that's how I resist that. Okay? So I'm stabilizing at that MCP, and I'm pushing on the proximal phalanx. So I'm doing this. Okay? For the extensor digitorum, I'm going to put you over the bolster. Okay. So this kind of looks like a reverse claw hand. Because I want her to be in this position, I'm going to test all of the digits in this flexion, hyperextension, and flexion at the same time. So what I would do is I'm going to have her forearm in pronation, and the digits are all going to be in that flexion position. Okay. I'm going to stabilize over the metacarpals, and I'm going to resist at the proximal phalanx. Okay. So what I would do is I'll tell her to bring your fingers back for me, up like a claw, almost like a claw, and I'm going to push down and resist. I'll say, Emily, I'm going to push down on your fingers, and I want you to resist me, okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'll apply resistance over there, okay? So I'm trying to push her back down into that motion, okay? I know, it's a very strange, but that's how you would test the extensor digitorum. For the indices is what?
Index?
The index finger, right? Your forefinger, your 2nd digit, 1st finger. So it's going to be the same test. So I'm going to have her in that extended, and I'm putting her over this because I want you guys to really see where I'm pushing. But I'm still going to do the same thing. Stabilize over the metacarpals. I'm going to have her do that same position, and she can do it with all of the fingers together because work it as a unit. So I'll have you bring your fingers back in the claw. And I'm just going to push on the indices. Okay, so I'm going to push on that index finger to test that. And then your digiti minimi, same test. Extensor digiti minimi, you're going to have her do the same thing, but I'm going to push down on that little finger. Okay? And I'm going to ask her to hold that position. Okay, so those tests, you test the same position, same way, but you do either the digitorum, which can be any of the fingers. Your indices is gonna have to be your index finger, and the digitominimate will always be your little finger. Okay. Test that we're gonna cover today, because I want you guys to practice this before we go, is gonna be your lumbricals. Okay, and the lumbricals is gonna be tested differently. I want you to test it the way that I show you today. Okay, in class. Test it differently than it says on your. So for the lumbricals, I would have her with the forearm. I can have her either over a support, or I want to make sure that she's not using her forearm, so that's where I'm going to stabilize. I would hand her a piece of paper and I would say, so can you hold this between your fingertips for me? So mostly like the pads and the fingers. So you're doing that duckbill, so you're doing that lumbrical position. Say, now I want you to hold onto this piece of paper. I'm going to pull it out of your hand on the count of 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3. And that's how I would test the lumbricals. Okay? So
You're
this
gonna
is,
stabilize the wrist.
hmm?
You stabilize
I
the
would
wrist.
stabilize her at the wrist, or I would keep her, make sure that she's in that seated position, because I don't want her to use her upper extremity to do that force. I want it to be lumbricals, strictly lumbricals. So I'm going to stabilize either over the wrist or the forearm to do that
So
position.
on the paper that you gave us, is extension and flexions reversed in the description, or am I getting confused?
For the lumbricals,
Yeah, 'cause MCP is
extension.
extension, that's flexion.
Oh, sorry, it is. Because actually when I first did it, I did it the way that the book, and then I just deleted the resistance and put paper test. So that one is incorrect.
And then the other ones are extension.
Yes, because I'm testing it opposite of the way the book is testing it.
So,
So she caught for lumbricals, forearm's gonna be prone position, your MCP is gonna be in flexion, and your PIP and your DIP are gonna be in extension, okay? So this position.
can I have a bonus point for catching that?
Well, and if you guys do catch things on this, please send me an email or let me know, because then I can just change it up a little bit and have it for lumbricals. Yes.
That's it, right?
Yes.
That's it.